So positive thinking isn't healing you, it's probably keeping you stuck. Okay. There was a moment earlier this week where I was moving through so much at one time. And, something happened. There was an experience that happened. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's all good. And then finally I told myself, I was like, Isaiah, no, actually, it's not all good. Okay? And when I actually told myself that it wasn't okay, I felt my body shift. And you're probably saying, like, Isaiah, yeah, duh, you should know this. But here's the deal. Sometimes, even as a coach, we get so caught up in being positive and love and light all the time that we keep ourselves in darkness, right? We're kind of pushing ourselves aside to make other people feel comfortable with us, to make ourselves feel comfortable or tolerable with ourselves, okay? Sometimes positive thinking is just simply avoidance, and you may not realize it until later, okay? If there's one thing to understand is there's a difference between actually thinking positive and pushing your feelings aside because you are so fearful of what it means to actually be human. Positivity is not medicine, okay? It can be a part of it, but it is not medicine. Because how can I always think positive if I don't have a point of reference? This is why it's important to be realistic about what you are feeling, because you know what you can work from. All right? Say, for example, I'm talking to a friend and I know they're going through a ton. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, good, everything's great. I can't complain. Meanwhile, the car is in flames, okay? Or their house is burning down. I'm like, you're not okay. What does it look like to actually say, hey, I'm not okay? And the goal is to not always have the answers in that moment. The goal is not even to always have people fix it for you, okay? The goal is to just simply understand and be real with yourself. See, a lot of times we go through the world saying that we want these honest relationships, but we can't even be honest about how we feel in a moment to moment, even with ourselves, right? We live in a very hyper individualistic culture where everybody is so concerned with their feelings that we don't have time to sit in the space with somebody else. Somebody says good vibes only. What does that look like? Because the fact that we even demand that sometimes means that we kind of have a negative edge to who we are. I can't deal with that. It's a judgment. And this isn't to say that you don't always have to sit in despair all the time. There's a difference between recognizing, hey, you know what, in this moment, I'm not okay. I don't feel good. The situation didn't feel good. That experience didn't feel good. I didn't like how I was talked to. I didn't like how I was treated. I don't like that the person didn't show up for support. I don't like that I didn't do well on this exam. Or I didn't like that I didn't get promoted. Something. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, I don't like that. I don't like that. And then you get to step into this space of, well, what do I like? How do I like to feel? Okay? Sometimes this love and light stuff is just avoidance of our truest selves, y'all. And if we can't be present with ourselves, we are really not able to be present for other people. I know a lot of people think that they are such these bleeding hearts and barrels of care for other people, care and abundance. But truth be told, if you cannot sit in the discomfort of your own feelings, you are not really showing up for other people in the ways that you think that you are, okay? You might be trying to get people to like you, people to think that you're such this caring, thoughtful, good listener. But in reality, you're not even doing it for yourself, so how thoughtful are you? If you have to abandon yourself to be present for other people, then you were probably not the person that you think you are. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, who am I doing this for? Or how often have I been told that my feelings don't matter in one way or another? And now that I have grown as an adult, I continue to carry that practice. Does it make sense? Yes or no? A lot of times it doesn't. And you're probably asking, well, how do I change that? Well, you simply just get real. Instead of rushing to the moment of positivity, like, oh yeah, I got to get over this or I got to dismiss this. No. hey, this does not feel good. There's a hummingbird outside of my window, y'all, so y'all know we are in business. At the end of the day, it's so crucial to just understand. And I'm so glad that hummingbird just showed up because, truth be told, this has been a week, a whirlwind of a week, a whirlwind of a week. And there was so much that was happening. Certain moments I did not feel good, right? I did not feel good. And I was like, damn, this is a lot. And I gave myself the opportunity to say that. I did a workshop recently where I was talking about, when it comes to grief, it's also important to allow room for gratitude and vice versa. You have to leave room for all parts of yourself to exist to really be a whole person. And a negative experience doesn't make you a negative person. Yes, there are some people who move through the world who are excessively negative. Everything that comes out of their mouth, their whole process is just negative. And they continue to stay there and they exist there. And even when you try to, incorporate some positivity, they want to stay there. That's their identity right now. And then there are other people who walk through the world like nothing is affecting them because any puncture in their armor is going to make them fall apart. The goal is to have balance, y'all. Because here's the piece. If you continue to minimize yourself, you'll continue to minimize yourself in relationships. If you continue to mistreat yourself, you'll continue to allow yourself to be mistreated in relationships. This applies to work too, right? You can be mad that you didn't get that promotion and feel that. And then say, hey, you know what do I want to do better? Or do I want to change jobs because this isn't the first time I've been skipped over for a promotion? Resentment is a result of needs going unmet over an extended period of time. And a lot of times we will walk around with so much disappointment and confusion because we are not allowing ourselves clarity. I'm not allowing myself to understand what I just went through. Is that fair to me? Is that fair to the people I'm in a relationship with? Because truth be told, sometimes people want to know exactly how you're feeling. The people in my life know it's like, hey, when I ask how you're doing, this is not a pastime. I want to know what's going on. Tell me, what's up? And the more I invite that space, the more the space is made for me too. Those are the relationships I'm cultivating. We can't say we want honest relationships and we're not even having an honest relationship with our own feelings. Okay? So I challenge you this week when something comes up, instead of saying, hey, this is fine, what does it look like to say, hey, I'm not okay, and I don't know what it is just yet, but I'm willing to understand and figure it out, or at least get closer to understand it. And you go from there, okay? Sometimes this positivity mindset is keeping you stuck because it's pushing everything aside that you need to move forward. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.